on a little project, and the project is sort of loosely based around this idea that um, that our podcast was sort of cut loose from the whole SB Nation. They decided they wanted to like stop sort of hosting the podcast and doing all that, and they're basically going to give us the podcast back, do what we want to do with it. And I think that's just sort of changed up the way that we looked at how we were doing our podcast. It's why we came to YouTube. It's why we joined up with Fans First Sports Network. But that naturally led us into this idea that we have other things that we can offer at Rock M. And so we're introducing a new service. I meant to create a banner for this, so I'm going to put this on a banner real quick. This is thrilling for people that are listening on our recording. So we are introducing Rock M Plus. I realize the name there may feel somewhat familiar, as I feel like everybody has plus now in their names. But the reason is because it adequately subscribes or describes what this is. And this is a subscription service that we are offering now that you can go to rockm.plus, which is the site's online right now. We are not taking any signups yet. We're still kind of troubleshooting some of the back end of the signups. It works. It just doesn't work exactly how I want it to work. And so we're looking at starting to, take subscriptions starting very soon, hopefully on Wednesday, but definitely before the transfer portal opens on Sunday. And I would say probably Wednesday, Thursday at the latest. But right now you can go to the website. Like I said, it is rockm.plus. And you can get an idea of what it is. You can actually sign up for the form there, which will notify you once the site goes live. And so, Watkins, I'm happy that you're actually on the podcast with me for this, because you are kind of a driving force behind some of the ideas that we landed on. And so I kind of think that I'm going to help. I'm going to let you kind of help me describe some of the stuff here. I think one of the biggest things that we're going to be introducing is an all-new Rock M Plus message board. I know that there is a thirst for discussion. It seems to me that Twitter has become a slightly more volatile place. And even though that is a place where a lot of conversations happen, sometimes the conversations aren't the most productive. There is a message board at Power Mizzou. There is a message board at tigerboard.com. Sort of a common complaint about those spaces is that they're sometimes hostile and not the most moderated and not the most enjoyable spaces. So we thought, especially with the SB Nation comment system kind of not being great with some of their updates, is why not come up with a message board that can be moderated, that can be a good, positive environment for any and all subscribers, and be a place where people can sort of meet online and talk about Mizzou sports. That's the idea behind the message board. Watkins, I know that you were excited about this feature. What do you expect will be driving people to the message boards?
Well, I think, not just who's on Twitter, who's on our comment section, that notwithstanding, I've found a difficulty in having discussions with people. People ask good questions of me on Twitter. I'm not going to write a story about their questions. I don't have the space in the tweet replies to adequately address their questions. I think having a place where the three of us, and then of course, this isn't just basketball, football, Olympic sports, everyone can come in here and interact with the contributors to the site in a more easy format. We have our own side chat, if you will, going on in the Slack channel, and we talk a lot of hoops in there. We talk every day. We talk about a lot of stuff we're hearing. We talk about just our thoughts on it, and none of this is going to go on. Well, most of it's not going to go on Twitter. I'm not going to write a story on any of these things, but it's useful information that I would like to put somewhere in a informal place that allows me the space to write about something. So transfer portal, that's a absolutely great place for this format to work. We can talk about what's happening in the transfer portal front. I can talk about the players I've watched. I can talk about what I like about them, what I don't like about them. We can talk about visits that are coming up. We could talk about visits that we hope are coming up. I've got a list of no less than 75 players sitting on my desktop right now, that it's not really worth writing a story about. I have no reason to believe that Mizzou is going to recruit any one of these guys individually, but I'm guessing they're going to recruit some of them. Um,
Yeah.
you know, where do I put this? It's not really worth a story. I mean, here's a list of names. You click on it like, okay, what do I do with it? I can't really comment on it. I can drop a comment. Is he going to reply? I don't know. In a message board format, you can't. We can chat. You can ask me questions. I can ask you questions, whatever. I think it's a lot better place to have conversations about the subject matter, than what we're currently limited to in the comment section. And then, of course, the social media replies, and I don't, occasionally I'll get not upset, but a little rankled by some of the content of the replies, not because it's directed at me, just because it's dumb.
Yeah.
you know, uh, so
Yeah. And
this is
well,
a good
and
place to really just have a flesh things out. If we want to talk about a player, if we want to talk about what we were talking about earlier in the podcast about Mizzou having bad luck, I can say that on Twitter, but then I'm going to have to say, well, it's not bad luck, they're terrible. Well, that's also true, but here's what I'm saying. I'm not going to write a full article on it. It's there's a big space in between tweets and full articles that is unoccupied right now, that I think this is going to allow us to give you a lot more content and a lot more interesting things that we hear that we're not going to blast on social media. Um, you know, we're not the deepest insiders, but we certainly hear things. We talk to people. We get things wrong, we get things right. It happens. This is a perfect place to put that.
yeah, it's there is going to be some sourced information available. I love how the background is completely changing too as the sun sets. Uh, but there is going to be like stuff that we are going to be able to, I would say, be more at ease to freely discuss on a private message board versus putting something in an article and being sort of beholden to sort of that's same sort of like journalistic practice of making sure that not as you're just hearing it from like one source, but hearing it multiple places and being able to kind of confirm that. So I think like that. I think it's going to be a big advantage for us. I think it's going to be a really fun tool,
Mhm.
and I really, really believe in our team and the expansion of the team and what we've been able to kind of provide at Rockham Nation. None of that is going to change as far as what we're publishing at Rockham Nation, but having access to the message board is going to be really important. The other thing that we are going to be doing is for people that aren't going to the site on a daily basis, we are going to be composing a weekly newsletter that'll get you kind of caught up on the big news stories of the week. Obviously, as we're heading into an off season for both football and basketball, it's going to be some slimmer pickings, but we're still going to be covering, softball, baseball, and like spring soccer is coming up, track and field is going on. Yeah, our Olympic coverage has been great, and I think that there is a lot of fans out there who really care about those sports as well. So having access to a weekly newsletter where you don't necessarily have to click on everything that you read every article, we are going to sort of sum it all up in one spot. Um, these podcasts. So I think this is another cool thing uh, that we're going to do is our podcasts are going to record live for subscribers. So we are going to allow the interaction of people that want to join us live. We are going to have a schedule. The schedule is going to be available for subscribers. The live videos are not going to be available for our regular YouTube subscribers. So if you are subscribed to this channel and you want to be a part of the live broadcasts, then I would recommend signing up for Rock'em Plus. On top of that, we are adding another podcast to the family, and one that I'm really, really excited about. For those that read the site, you probably noticed that we have Chad Moller writing for the site now. Chad, for 25 years, was the sports information director for the University of Missouri. And that was all the way up until COVID. He got laid off during COVID, like a lot of people did. And Chad is terrific. So he knows a lot of people. He is starting a podcast. He and I are actually going to probably be doing a few recordings here in the coming weeks. And subscribers are going to have early access to that. We are still going to filter those podcasts onto our regular feed, but it is going to be at a fairly significant delay, especially in the off season. And considering some of the guests that he's talking about lining up, I think getting in early and listening to those podcasts is going to have some real value. Another thing that we're going to do is, so we've already had 2 t-shirts. We are going to continue to sort of do this t-shirt thing with 573tees.com. Mickey has been awesome at 573tees. If you haven't been over there, you can go over there now and sort of, you can still buy our t-shirts, the 2 that are up there. We are going to basically try to have about 4 t-shirts a year, at least. And any t-shirt that you buy as a Rock'em Plus subscriber is going to be $5 off. So this is super cool because it's basically a free month of subscription. So I don't think I've actually mentioned how much this is going to cost. So yeah, so there you go. That's what it is, $5 a month, which that's cheaper than a meal at McDonald's. So $5 a month, $50 for a year. If you buy a t-shirt, you're already knocking $5 off the cost of that. And the same deal applies for the t-shirt. Honestly, like the bulk of the money that those t-shirts go to 573Ts. So it's supporting a local Columbia business, which we're really happy to do. Any money that we make, we're going to sort of put that into a pot and donate it to name, image, and likeness stuff. Try to make sure that we're helping support the student athletes at Missouri. And then there's a couple things that I want to kind of work on, that if we get enough subscribers and we get people that are excited for this feature, then I want to roll out like an email and SMS service for breaking news. A lot of those services, to be quite frankly, are sort of expensive. So it does sort of require people signing up, because I've already been, investing a fair amount of like my personal income into this venture to make sure we have server space and all that kind of stuff. This is not anything that I'm looking to make a lot of money on. For full disclosure here, like our budget at Rock'em Nation is really limited. This is an opportunity for me to get some more money into the hands of people that do a lot of work. So like that includes a lot of our student writers who work for peanuts, if not less than that. And so, yeah, like it's one of those things. Like, I don't at this point have any full expectation on what subscriptions are going to look like. I'm excited. I think we have a product that people will be excited for. I think it is something that we could have like a lot of interest in. I do want to make sure that we're taking care of the people that are out there reporting the news and writing the stories and all that kind of stuff. And this is a really, really great way to do that. So if you like what we do at Rock'em Nation and you think, that you want to sort of not just see us continue, but even bolster what we're currently doing, then I I think this is also going to be a valuable service for people to sign up for. Um, I think that's most uh,
Wait.
of what I wanted to kind of talk about. I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's a good job listing the features. I would just say the benefit of all of this is that you, the consumer, gets to get involved. We've kind of been a little detached from our consumers. I don't want to say that in a bad way, but just the format in which we put our stuff out there with our articles. You can comment on it, but if we don't see it or we don't come back to it, then you're just left hanging with it. So
Right.
now we have the opportunity to interact with one another, and I think that's a big thing. I like a lot of the people that I encounter in various social media formats. That we're talking Mizzou basketball, we're talking basketball in general. That's what I enjoy, is just talking basketball. It's literally in my Twitter bio. I talk hoop. That's what I do. It's better to have people to talk with. So when we've got a message board format and we've got the live podcasts, that allows us to interact with you. And I think that's a big thing that I will enjoy, and I would hope that you, the consumer, enjoys as well. Well, that we don't profess to know everything, but we know quite a bit. And if we're not writing a story about it, then it's not getting out there in the public sphere, or at least in the hands of you. So I think that would be a really big thing, that if I were not working here, that I would be interested in. Matt Harris and I talk all the time on Slack. Sam is well aware of that. We talk about how the recruits are doing. We talk about how potential portal guys are doing. We talk about lineups. We talk about offensive sets. We talk about God knows what. Last year was tournament projections. I was releasing tournament projections weekly, but we talked about it daily. That type of stuff never makes it out anywhere. And I think there's a place for it. And if you want to read it, that's great. If you want to ask us questions about it, it's even better. So that's my spiel as far as what we're going to be offering and why I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm super excited, and I haven't been as involved in our basketball discussions lately because I've been working really hard to kind of get this ready to go. Anybody that knows me knows like I am not a computer programmer, but I know my way around some technology enough to kind of get things working. Um, so yeah, like I said, the site is live. There is a link on the main page there that you can click to sort of get notified if you want to know when the site will be live. I will have an extensive post coming probably tomorrow that will kind of talk about all the features. And I am still targeting Wednesday as our official launch date. For all that, because I'd love to have it up and ready and have some people signed in and ready to talk basketball like for the game, because we can sort of have that interaction, and you guys very early on see the kinds of things that we talk about like during a basketball game. As we've sort of moved a lot of those conversations off of Twitter and just onto our Slack channel, where now we're moving these to the message board, and I think that's going to be a fun thing. So with that all said, yeah,
one other thing I wanted to mention is that, at least in basketball, and I'm not saying it doesn't apply to other sports, but at least with our 3-man basketball team here, we a lot of the people that we know are consumers of our content, and potential message board posters are very informed, very closely connected people to the program. And I'm not going to say who, but we talk with people who read our stuff, and this isn't tooting our own horn. This is telling you a feature that we expect there to be some people that are coming onto the message board that will know quite a bit. And how much they share, I don't know, but we know the various people who we expect to be members of the community. So it's not just going to be us three yammering about basketball. It's not just going to be Nate talking about football. There's going to be people in there that I find the value of the message board is not always the people who run it, but the people who contributed to it as subscribers. So, I think that will be a big feature that we didn't list off that should end up happening. So,
yeah, and I would add on well moderated. Like I think it's important to have you know, a good community. Like, you know, I think that's something that Rockham Nation was always about, was making sure that the community aspect of it was alive in the comments. We're carrying that over. We're using a lot of the same, you know, rules and approaches, you know, that we've used for years at Rockham Nation. We're applying that to the message boards. It's going to be a really good environment. And you know, not that you can't like post something if you're frustrated and you want to get something off your chest. Yeah, like, you know, we're all fans. It happens to us. You'll probably see Watkins say something like that occasionally. but
The Game of
but
Threads will have a little bit more leeway. A little bit more leeway.
exactly. Yeah. So but like I said, we're excited. You know, get signed up on Wednesday, and we'll carry this discussion ongoing in perpetuity, and we can't wait. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Like I said, for anyone who hears this and is planning on subscribing, our podcasting schedule will be going up on the message board, so you'll be able to access when we're recording, and you'll be able to partake if you want to enjoy those. Regardless, podcast will be forthcoming. Again, there will be no like severe changes to the content that's going up at Rockham Nation and on our podcast feed. So a lot of this is going to be bonus, sort of like you buy like the Blu-ray DVD and you get all those bonus features. That's basically what this is. So yeah, there you go, like director commentary. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more podcasts and hopefully some updates on what's going on at Rockham Plus. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next week.